Hello, everybody, and welcome to College Sports Talk. So, I'd like to start this off with saying that sorry I haven't been posting videos, but I am in college, and unfortunately, I had to spend times with my friends because they're leaving. I mean, I'm going to my sophomore year, but they're there. Some of my friends go to LSU. I go to UL, which is, if people who don't know, is a college in Louisiana. So all my friends are going to LSU, and a couple of them were with me the past couple of days, and I want to hang out with them before they leave. So I decided to do that instead of make videos. So sorry about that. But continue with my series of previewing all the NFL teams. I'm starting with or continuing with the AFC South. I originally did the NFC South, and I just thought that the AFC South would be the funnest. So I'm starting with the Titans, and I'm starting with them because I feel like they're going to win the AFC South this year. Let's begin with Marcus Mariota. So I really like Marcus Mariota. He was the second overall pick in 2014, I believe. Yeah, either 2013 or 2014. But either way, the second overall pick, and he went to the Titans, obviously. So last season in 2016, he had 3,426 passing yards. That's with the fact that got injured. Like, I believe he broke in his fibula, so he got injured in week 16. I believe it was against Jacksonville. They were losing kind of badly too, so it wasn't all that great. But yeah, he had 3,426 passing yards and 26 touchdowns, which was good for 12th in the NFL. And his QBR was 95.6, which was good for 10th in the NFL. So I really believe that he can be a franchise quarterback. I can say that he's on par with Jameis Winston, who was the first overall pick, if you guys don't know. But yeah, these two quarterbacks are going to be franchise quarterbacks. I already talked about Jameis Winston with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's going to be great. But similar to Jameis Winston, now Marcus Mariota has plenty of weapons. He already had a decent amount, but I don't feel like Marcus Mariota was being used correctly. Like in his time in Oregon, he had 4 wideout sets. Compared to in Tennessee, his couple of years that he was there, it was more of a run-based game, and they didn't really have that many capable wideouts, so they didn't play to his strengths. But now that they actually have a decent amount of talent in the wideout position. With that said, I can assume that he will get, let's say, 4,000 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. I feel like he's going to have a really good season. Definitely a Pro Bowler, possibly MVP season, depending. Borderline MVP. That's moving on to the running backs. So DeMarco Murray had a really good season. He had 293 rushes, worth for 1,287 rushing yards, which was good for third in the NFL. He had 9 touchdowns, which was eighth in the NFL in rushing touchdowns, 377 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he ran for 4.4 yards per carry. So the yards per carry is a little bit low, honestly, but DeMarco Murray is a really good running back. Definitely top 10 running back. Let's see. I don't know if I could say Ezekiel Elliott's better, but yeah, he's probably better. So let's say Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy. I almost want to say Freeman. Yeah, I'll put Freeman as a better running back. And the run. What am I forgetting his name? The running back for David Johnson, for Arizona. So I guess he's the sixth best running back in my book. Wait. Yeah. So I feel like his numbers here are gonna drop a little bit, mostly because I feel like Derrick Henry is a really good running back as well, and based on the fact that they have better wideouts, like I said before. So let's say he gets a little over 1,000 yards, and let's say 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. I still think that he's gonna get plenty of touchdowns. Let's move on to Derrick Henry. So he had, as a rookie, he had 110 rushing attempts, 490 yards, worth 4.5 yards per carry, and 5 touchdowns, 13 receptions, and 137 receiving yards. He has plenty of talent. Anybody who watched Alabama should know that. But with that said, let's say I still believe that he's going to be the number 2 running back, but not by that much. Let's say he gets 800 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Let's move on to the old man. So Delaney Walker, one of the better tight ends in the NFL. He was a Pro Bowler last year. He had 65 receptions, 800 yards, which was 6 and when compared to tight ends, and 7 touchdowns, which was third and for tight ends. So really good tight end. Just imagine if they picked up O.J. Howard. Probably the best tight end duo in the NFL. So what am I expecting this year? Let's say 650 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, and probably another Pro Bowl season, possibly. Based off reputation by itself. It's not really a Pro Bowl numbers, but still. And the other notable wideout that I'm going to be mentioning is, Delaney Walker isn't wideout, but I'm going to be mentioning Rashard Matthews. So one can assume that he's either going to be the number 1 or number 2 this year. Possibly number 3, considering that what Eric Decker does. But Rashard Matthews, he had 65 receptions, 945 yards. So he didn't reach 1,000 yards, but it was close. He was 30th in receiving yards in the NFL, and 9 touchdowns, which was good for 7th. So really good number 2 wideout. I don't feel like he should be a number 1. And with Corey Davis, he shouldn't be a number 1 for very long. He may be a number 1 this year, but only because we need Corey Davis to develop. But I don't know. But he's a really good number 2. So what am I expecting next year? I don't see him getting 1,000. I see about the same. And I say 150 yards and 8 touchdowns. So as I said before, my predictions when it comes to predicting the numbers for players by themselves aren't mathematically sound, but the team predictions, like what I'm expecting them to do, is mathematically sound because what I did, for example, when I say in week 1, Steelers play the Browns, I expect the Steelers to win that game. So I give the Steelers a win, I give the Browns to a loss. So Steelers 1-0, Browns 0-1. And then I move on to week in the same format. So it's all mathematically sound in terms of that. Let's move on to the offensive line. So Taylor Taylor, or not Taylor Lewan, I don't know why I said that. He got a Pro Bowl. He had a Pro Bowl season last year, and I believe he's in his 5th year. So he has plenty of talent. I believe he's a right tackle or left tackle. And then there's Jack Conklin, the rookie, or he was a rookie last year. He played very well, which he should have been because he was drafted in the first round fairly high. And then Quentin Spain, the guard, he was a low draft pick, but he's playing fairly well. So I can expect them to have a really good season as well in 2017. And then kicking, they have Ryan Sukup, or however you pronounce his name. He was 22. He 22 for 24, so that was pretty good. He was 3 for 5 kicks above 50, so that's pretty good too. Moving on to the defense. So Brian Arakpo, he had 10.5 sacks. He had a Pro Bowl season. Really good linebacker. I can expect him to have a similar season. Let's say 10 sacks. Gerald Casey, good interior pass rusher. He had 5 sacks. Let's assume that he get 6 next year. Derek Morgan, 9 sacks, good DN. He had 9 sacks, and let's assume that he gets 7.5. So the only real problem that I find in this front seven is the linebacking core. Not even the score, the middle linebacker. Avery Williamson. He had 104 combined tackles. He's a good run stuffer, but that's about it. People were saying that the Titans can be a Super Bowl contender. Wait a second. Look at all the defensive teams that won the Super Bowl. Or they don't even have defensive. They don't have to be defensive teams. Let's look at the Saints. They had Darren Sharper. He's a horrible person. He raped a lot of people. But he was a good safety. He had 62 interceptions, and he was a hard-hitting safety. Seahawks, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman. Why am I forgetting their middle linebacker? I'm forgetting his name, but he's a real good linebacker. Ravens, they had Lewis. Right. And then Broncos, T.J. Ward. They're all their secondary pass rushers. You get the point. They need a presence on defense. Yeah, they have decent pass rushers, but they don't have either a middle linebacker or a safety that puts fear into the receiving core or the running back or just offense in general. They need that to be a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. Because a wideout wouldn't really care too much if they just go a slant throughout the middle along this defense. They need fear. Because they need to fear that they're just going to get smoked by a middle linebacker or a strong safety covering the middle. If they get that next year, I can see them making a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. Because I feel like Marcus Mariota's that good. Moving on, so they picked up Logan Ryan from the Patriots. He's a solid starter, a good number 2 cornerback. He had 2 interceptions, but he's not really a takeaway corner. He's a coverage corner. I like the contract. It was a 3-year contract. And then moving on to Jonathan Cyprien. He had 127 tackles. No, he didn't have any interceptions anyway, but he's a really good tackler, so that's good for them. Kevin Byard, he had 59 tackles. So they don't really have any ball hawks in the secondary, but they have decent players. Let's talk about Eric Decker for a second. So in 2015, he had 87 receptions for 1,027 yards and 12 touchdowns. Really good wideout. I kind of wanted the Saints to pick him up, but we had plenty of wideouts. In 2016, though, he had only 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. So yeah, dip off, but he was injured. I can expect him to say 600 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. I like Eric Decker, but I don't know. Let's move on to the draft picks. Focus on Corey Davis, Adoree Jackson, and Taywan Taylor. So Corey Davis, fifth overall pick. I kind of thought that was a reach, but the draft was kind of weird. Where wideouts went a lot earlier than expected. So yeah, 97 receptions and 1,500 receiving yards, even and 19 touchdowns. So really good wideout. Presumably the best wideout in the draft class. Let's assume he gets 900 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. I feel like they have a deep receiving core, but I don't feel like in terms of depth. Corey Davis is going to be a great wideout eventually, but I don't know if he's going to reach 1,000 yards right now, based on the fact that they have two really good running backs right now, and you can't really expect Marcus Mariota to throw a lot of passing yards right now. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the talent. It's just the fact that the scheme right now is more of a even pass run game. If he was for the Saints, he'd probably have at least 1,000 yards, assuming. That's based on the fact that the Saints pass it a lot. There's no slack against Corey Davis, Marcus Mariota, or the Tennessee Titans. It's based on the fact of the scheme of the offense. So moving into Adoree Jackson. I don't like this pick or this player at all. Adoree Jackson, he had 5 INTs. He won the defensive back award, but the fact is he's viewed as a speedster, but he's always got burnt by fast wideouts. I would rather them picked Tre'Davious White out of LSU, or even Sidney Jones. Yeah, Sidney Jones probably won't play this season, but he's a better cornerback. Or I would rather them pick up O.J. Howard with the pick. But still, you got Adoree Jackson. Let's see what he can do. I'm not really expecting too much. I'm going to say 2 interceptions. He has plenty of potential, but I don't know. Let's move on to Taywan Taylor. So he was a wideout from a small school. He had 1,730 receiving yards. That's crazy. That's why he was drafted in the 3rd round, but went to a small school. And he had 17 touchdowns. So what can I expect from him? Let's say 450 yards and 6 touchdowns. Can't really expect too much out of a rookie wideout, especially, like I said before, in an offense that runs the ball a lot, but also passes it a decent amount. But again, you're a rookie. You're probably going to be either the 3rd or 4th rookie. So I'm not assuming that Sharp is cut, because Tayshaun Sharp, or what was his first name again? My computer isn't on right now, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it started with a T. He got in trouble for presumably beating a man behind a bar with another dude. Or maybe he was the lookout. But the fact is, he got in trouble with the wall and he may be cut. In my knowledge, Sharp isn't cut right now, but I can assume that he will be. Or who knows. And apparently he wasn't very happy on Twitter saying with the draft pick of Corey Davis, because apparently with this fight, this dude was saying you're going to lose your starting spot because they drafted Corey Davis. And apparently he was mad, and he just really put this guy in the hospital by beating him almost to death. It's a really poor judgment. So the Titans have a really, really hard early season, but I feel like they're going to come back. I have them winning the division, like I said before. I have them going 10-6 for my prediction. Best case scenario, 11-5. Worst case scenario, 8-8. They have a really high floor. because they have all this talent, really. And they should, because they've been drafting kind of high recently. But really good team. Potential dark horse for a Super Bowl. And I can see in a couple of years them making a real push for Super Bowl contention. If, like I said before, they get a middle linebacker who can be a presence, or get a really good safety who could be a presence. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. Thank you.